And yes, that's me. That's me in Minneapolis, especially if tonight goes as planned. And drunk guy JJ, yes.
Oh, I know Randy Orton's wife wants to be on the show for sure. Her and Matt Hardy's wife definitely have to be like the two girls there.
Chrissy went straight for the Puerto Rican wives first.
Oh,
you know what?
The being in the AEW crowd is like being at a party. Sometimes you don't know the person next to you, but you're just like, hi, how's it going?
I think that's most wrestling shows, though.
I've been to a few WWE shows, and I don't want to know the person next to me. So,
okay. Oh, damn. He's reading our mind. He has like some telekinesis. He has something going on.
You said telekinesis.
Yeah, sorry. Wrong one.
There's a part of me that like appreciates when there's wrestlers who'll stand up for themselves. Like we've gotten too used to wrestlers just doing what the company says. You know, you don't have people who like, you know, cause trouble, you know, like a Loki or an Ultimate Warrior, or I don't know why Loki and Ultimate Warrior come to mind.
I know. I was like,
what a
magical pairing you just named.
I wouldn't want to have a political conversation with those two.
There's nothing on the line to make it a screw job. To be fair,
I won't stop them.
Come on, SP3. Brand supremacy is on the line. What are you talking about?
He looks like Samuel Screech Powers meets Johnny Depp.
No, you read my mind. I was going to put that picture on screen and ask for a fashion report, but we have telekinesis right here.
Telekinesis, absolutely. Now, there's no up, down, down without Austin Creed, a.k.a. Xavier Woods. So I hope they can come up with a different deal that helps him out a little bit more.
Being King of the Ring not good enough for Woods there? What about that compromise?
Oh, that's their payoff. You're an asshole.
Did you get a bonus for that?
Right.
You wanted millions of dollars, but we have this Burger King crown that you could wear. When a man explains something to a woman in a patronizing tone, as if the woman is too emotional and illogical to understand.
Why is this the one he went off on? Like half of the questions were like, Mr. Khan, your company has the momentum of a runaway freight train. Why are you so popular? Like that was basically what the questions were.
Yes, it was a good time. I am back from Minneapolis, back in New York City for a huge weekend of WWE Survivor Series 2021. So you know what we're going to do. We're going to preview that show, recap Full Gear for AEW, as well as more WWE releases. We got a special guest from the Heel Marks podcast, plus much, much more. Producer, hit the intro. Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for True Hill Heat 152. You try to make me go to release rehab, and I'm like, no. We are back in release rehab, so you know what we're talking about. The latest wrestling news, including the major news of the week, WWE releasing 8 more superstars, fallout from AEW Full Gear, recap in the week of wrestling with AEW Rampage, SmackDown, Dynamite, Impact, Raw, NXT 2.0, WWE moving NXT 2.0 to TV 14, preview and predictions for Survivor Series, plus much, much more to fill in for Top Guy JJ, who's been out the last couple of weeks, as well as Miss Chrissy Love, who had to take care of family business. We got the one and only, my brother, who is next to me at Full Gear live in Minneapolis, the resident true heel drunk man. He is Drunk Guy JJ.
What's good, everybody? Irony that we're talking about rehab and I'm on this episode. It's good to be here. Good early Saturday morning. As you can see, I am definitely in my kids' room. This is the quietest space in the house right now. So let's go, man. It's good to be on True Heat. It's been a while. I've been up here, and it's been a long time, it feels like.
I think since you got the moniker of drunk guy, I think it's been that long.
I was on the anniversary show.
Right.
I feel like I was so before after that too, but whatever.
There you go. There you go. So the last time you were on here was the True Hill Heat 100th episode, and we got a special guest for this episode right here. He is the co-host of one of the more popular podcasts and Instagram and social media pages out there, the Heel Marks podcast. He is Big Papi Jones himself, Brady.
Yes, yes. Thank you guys for having me. It is the custodian of charisma. It is the ophthalmologist of optimism. One half of the best friends in all the land, Brady, aka the heel of the heel marks. What is up, guys?
We're glad to have you on the show this Saturday morning before Survivor Series 2021. I try my best to always introduce folks, but please, for anyone who has never heard of Heel Marks or yourself, please let them know where they can find you right off the bat here and what you guys do over at the Heel Marks podcast.
You can find us at the Heel Marks. That's everywhere. On Pro Wrestling Tees. If there's a 90s logo you like, we probably ripped it off and put it on a t-shirt. So check that out.
I love it.
Rugrats, yeah. We also ripped off all that. We did all that logo. We did the Nickelodeon logo, and we took the Wu-Tang logo, but don't tell them because
okay, cease and desist gang. Cease and desist gang.
They come up for us. We did a Burger King logo, but we were actually too scared to put that on the t-shirt. So I only throw that on like videos and stuff. We ain't fucking with BK. But yeah, no, my better half, Danielle, she is always the salty cracker, the salty saltine of the show. She's gonna drip the salt. I'm gonna try and be a source of light in the world, but essentially we sharpshoot the shit every week talking about wrestling or whatever song Danielle starts singing. So we are both hyperactive heels and we're just going off the walls on a regular basis.
Well, we are glad to have that energy, that excitement here on True Hill Heat 152. Been trying to get you guys on the show for quite some time. So very happy to have you here with us, a fellow New York podcast. It's always great to see you guys.
Brooklyn in the house.
Absolutely. And of course, this True Hill Heat 152 is an interactive podcast. So we want to hear from you guys in the live chat. Give us your thoughts on the wrestling news, the predictions for Survivor Series, your thoughts on Full Gear, your thoughts on the WWE releases in the live chat. Super chat donations are always appreciated, and we will definitely highlight your comment, your hot take, your question on screen. We got one of our elite good eggs, Vala B, here with us saying gang gang. We got Marcus 8915 who joined us during the Full Gear watch along saying good morning everyone. Good morning to everyone as well. We got JMC Jason Michael Campbell saying, hey Brady, good to see you. It's been a while.
Hey Jason Michael Campbell.
We also got DJ Eric saying Team SP3 will defeat and conquer Team Rick Ucchino. Yes, 4 p.m. Eastern time on the Sports Keto Wrestling YouTube channel. My team, Team SP3, will defeat Team Rick Ucchino in Survivor Series trivia. So check that out. Vala B with a super chat donation. Thank you so much, Vala B, saying, I got to throw my ROH fund money. Our Ring of Heat, baby. Yes, Brady, we are sending all of our super chat money to buy Ring of Honor. We're trying to save Ring of Honor and buy it through Truth.
Oh man. Fantastic. Okay.
This is what we're here for.
I'm sure we're $1 away.
We're $1 away. We're $2 up because 100 rubies is $2. I learned that through super chats here. But this True Hill Heat is also brought to you by our friends over at Warrior Wrestling, as well as Powered 4 TV. You can get 1 month off Powered 4 TV by using the promo code HEAT. And of course, we start off the True Hill Heat with our True Hills roll call. A couple of True Hills we got to shout out. Coming in at number 3 in our top 3 conversation starters on the True Hills group page, Jessica V. Coming in at number 2, Dennis Smith. And coming in at number 1, the Negro Buck, Nick Jackson. The True Hills we got to shout out are Gino Bismo, Evan Christopher Jones, EBB, and White Lightning. Our YouTube subscriber highlight is yes, I know, the Wrestling Lowdown, who on the Romeo Report number 14 says, I have a feeling they have a big list of release already planned. They are just doing it week by week. So conspiracies are about, because we're going to get into our top news story. But remember to drop a like on this video, share it with your friends. And if you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And you can get even more content over on patreon.com/True Hill Heat. But let's get into it, guys. Top news story is, of course, WWE releases 8 more superstars, including one of the latest NXT call-ups. WWE did another round of talent cuts on Thursday with Tegan Knox, John Morrison, Hit Row, and more release. Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp and PW Insider both reported the following names: John Morrison, the rest of Hit Row, Ashanti V. Adonis, Isaiah Swerve Scott, and Top Dollar, Tegan Knox, Drake Maverick, Jason Riker, and Shane Thorne. Both report that the usual budget cuts reasoning was the one told to the talent. This is the latest round of cuts, with the hefty cuts 18 releases just 2 weeks ago with Karrion Kross, Scarlett Bordeaux, Keith Lee, Eva Marie, and Hit Row's B-Fab. And speaking of Hit Row, they got to be considered the most puzzling out of this latest set of releases. They were just called up to the main roster in October. According to Fightful, Top Dollar's polarizing reaction on Twitter did carry over to some within WWE, with sources in the company comparing it to the Greg Hamilton situation. I'm getting a little too comfortable. However, it was reportedly not the main factor in either his release or the releases of Isaiah Swerve Scott. However, Fightful also notes that Top Dollar was held in high regard for both his hosting abilities and dedication to Hit Row, and at one point he was considered to be the host of Raw Underground. Additionally, the report states that although there were significant creative pitches for Hit Row on the WWE main roster, there was plenty of back and forth internally as to who should lead the group between Top Dollar and Isaiah Swerve Scott, whether they should be faces or heels, and the overall direction of the faction. There were also major companies that reportedly have already expressed their interest in Isaiah Swerve Scott, who has a 90-day non-compete clause. So there's good news for him. On the other hand, the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that AJ Francis, better known as Top Dollar, was developing a difficult reputation backstage prior to his release. It was noted that while he did well in his role on TV, he rubbed a ton of people the wrong way during his time in NXT, and he was reportedly doing the same thing on the main roster prior to his exit. Vince McMahon saw him as the star of the group due to his size. However, once the decision was made to cut him, Ashanti V. Adonis and Isaiah Swerve Scott were likely caught in the crossfire. Top Dollar has released a new rap track titled Thank You /89 Days. It's part of his regular freestyle Friday drops, and he referenced the fact that he'll be free in 89 days. Name drops all the different promotions: AEW, ROH, PWG. Taya Valkyrie, on the other hand, did not do a rap, but she did express her frustration with WWE. Valkyrie was cut just earlier this month and posted after her husband, John Morrison, was released from WWE on Twitter saying, first, yo, fuck them. I had to put the abbreviations on that. Stop, and then in another tweet said, stop supporting a company that has zero respect for their talent. You love pro wrestling, spend your money on the hundreds of other alternatives. This is wrong. Ethically, as employers, they don't care about us, talent or fans. And then in the last tweet, she said, we will just be fine, #the Mundos. When a fan reacted negatively to this, she defended herself by tweeting, my husband got fired. This is why I'm saying this. I'm speaking my truth. I'm sick and tired of people treating us like shit. In 2 weeks, we both lost our incomes. Before the holidays, I'm allowed to feel how I do. All of these wrestlers will be free to sign elsewhere or perform elsewhere on February 16th, 2022. Brady, we're going to go to you first. What was your initial reactions to these latest batch of releases?
I mean, my initial reaction was like, what the fuck? The caption when we posted about it speaks for itself. I said WWE doing WWE things. At this point, and what's sad is if people are like me and every once in a while you're creeping on the dirt sheets and seeing what the rumors are. This was actually hinted at like last week. Somebody said we're hearing that like up to 8 to 10 people could be getting cut. So it's one of those things where sadly we're not even surprised anymore, and it breaks my heart. Obviously, I want us to talk about Hit Row. That's like the biggest one because it's as you described it as puzzling. Like they brought them to NXT. They came to NXT. They give a stable to Swerve, who's on the rise in NXT. He's got that heel persona he's doing. I think it was kind of a mad scientist. Great feud with Leon Ruff, and then boom, they get him this stable. The stable is just it comes to life so naturally. They get to do what we've never seen before. Hip hop fans have seen the Cypher all the time, but we've never seen that in the wrestling world, in a wrestling ring, the way they did it. They gave him so much time to and freedom, it seemed like, to kind of just do what they wanted and bring it to life and sink or swim. They swam. They swam like motherfuckers, didn't stop swimming. They swam all the way to the main roster. All of a sudden, out of where they decide, oh, you know what, you guys don't actually need BFAB. But if you're like me, the second you heard that new theme, like the day after, you're like, nah, bro, like they needed BFAB. And it was more than that, though. Once she got cut, I really realized how dope that verse was. I didn't really respect it until like I listened to it after she was done. I was like, no, she killed it. But then, like just a week later, or it feels like a week later, a little further than that, boom, they just say, you know what, let's get rid of them all. And on one hand, like you said, the rumors are that Francis and his personality issues or whatever they want to say was the reason. That's ridiculous because you clearly didn't know what you had in Swerve just for one. You know what I mean? Like that guy should be in the conversation consistently of one of the best workers there is. And wherever he goes next, he will be. As for Top Dollar, AJ Francis, I don't understand. Does WWE not actually meet these people when they hire them or bring them up? Like, did you not know who this man was?
Nope. Apparently
Everybody
not.
knew who this man was. This man doesn't need WWE. He'll tell you in every single rap. This guy was on magazine covers. He did talk shows. He had his own belt, and he brought it to every network that would put him on TV, and there was a lot of them. This guy's got a mansion and a studio in his crib. He can make professional videos and professional tracks in minutes. This guy does not need WWE, and no, he's not going to cow down and act like he does. So the fact that they didn't know what they had in all four of these talents is ridiculous. And I can go on and on about all the rest. I want to, I feel like I'm talking too much. I want to hear Drunk Guy JJ.
Yeah, Drunk Guy JJ. What was the most surprising name to you? And yeah, just look at all the African American, North American champions and how they're going out at a rapid speed. But Drunk Guy, what was the most surprising name for you? And who do you think is going to be the first to be snagged up come February?
I'm gonna start off like this. Vince McMahon does not care about black people. Also,
well, we need our producer to work and put Drunk Guy's head on Kanye and just Vince McMahon doesn't care about black people. That needs to be the meme. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I realized where he was going with that. I wanted to do the awkward Mike Myers face so bad, but I couldn't stop myself from laughing. As soon as I realized what he was doing,
and then put Brady on Mike Myers' head.
That Bianca picture was self-explanatory, zooming in a black girl losing her eyelash. But anyway, I don't get how you ruin something that you basically don't even give legs to coming to the main roster and Hit Row. You bring them in. Didn't BFAB get released the following week after they got drafted, right?
I think it was like
maybe 2 weeks later.
At least 2 weeks, right? Okay. So I don't get how you, like you said, they were hot in NXT. I don't even watch NXT, but I followed Hit Row because I thought that was one of the best factions they had going in the company right now. And there was so much potential, and they didn't get a fair shot. And which I don't understand in the sense that if you guys kind of had this painted out in your head, why bring them to the main roster if this was something you wasn't really going to take interest to, and you basically killed them literally before they did anything. anything. Backstage segment. I think they had a squash match, and now the lasting impression of Hit Row is going to be them getting dissed by some Indians. Like
they lost the battle rap.
They lost the battle rap. They can't even respond. And speaking of battle raps, that track Top Dollar dropped after getting released was hot fucking garbage. That was horrible. he must have had that shit wrote before he got released. That's probably why they released his ass to begin with. We can't have this.
He's super ugly. He's super ugly.
Oh my god, that shit was.
He already wrote it. It was already. Johnny Ace and Pritchard probably heard that shit. Oh yeah, he's part of the releases now. But Adonis, I don't know where he goes with this because he didn't really have much of a showcase to begin with. Nah.
Swerve was a hot commodity, a hot free agent before he even decided to sign with WWE anyway. So I already know now that he's got now more experience working with the WWE for the last 3 years, and he's already a name that people knew before getting to the company. So I feel like he'll be the best. He'll be better off. He'll be better off out of all four of Hit Row once the 90 days is up. Top Dollar, he was talking about all the companies. None of them companies are gonna fucking sign him, man. He's not getting signed. He can go drop another album. He can do these corny ass freestyles every Friday. Jason Riker, that was about time. I don't know how the fuck he survived this long any goddamn way.
He lost his phone.
Exactly. The irony, him and Shane Thorne both got released now, so now they're definitely going to be forgotten. No pun intended.
Shane gonna reunite with was it TMDK?
Yeah, Mikey Nichols, TM61.
Yeah, and Jonah.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, they have their all Australian gang outside of WWE.
I'm not the guy to defend WWE. I'm not a WWE defender. I watch WWE, but sadly, when it comes to corporation businesses, they don't give a fuck about any of us. We're all expendable, you know.
Yeah.
We can. My friend just lost his job last week, and he was killing it at work. And they just said they want to go in a different direction and fired him. No explanation. Like these companies, they don't see us. They don't see us as humans. I'm not gonna get in a whole big spill about it, but they don't see us as humans. They see us as a quick. You know, they need us. When they don't need us no more, they find a new shiny toy or a new employee to manipulate. They're gonna get us the fuck out of here. We don't want to pay you guys. And plus, you know, they got all the budget cuts. It probably makes sense. You know, they got to pay for The Rock to show up tomorrow. So I'm just saying.
they gotta make those
everybody
cuts.
thinks The Rock is showing up tomorrow. I must be the only one who I don't think there's a shot in hell The Rock shows up at Survivor.
I don't think he's showing up tomorrow.
Everybody's saying
not the only one
who's going.
I'm just talking shit because you know, in my perfect
all right.
how I thought,
because I know a friend who bought an
Survivor
expensive
Series
ass
was gonna
ticket
pay
and he
it
told me he
out.
can't afford. And he said he's only going because The Rock comes. He's dead ass. He's going to the show. And he told me if The Rock does not come, I wasted my money on a ticket. He does not care about the matches. He's going because he thinks this is the only chance he'll ever get to see The Rock in an arena.
Tell your buddy to put his tickets on StubHub right now.
He's probably not even in town.
Tell your friend to put his tickets on SeatGeek right now, because I was the same way, man. I don't feel like The Rock is a guy that you at the point of his career. WWE, especially how the Survivor Series ticket sales are going, they don't save that. They let you know, hey, The Rock showing up, 25th anniversary. They're not going to save that as a surprise. At least in my opinion. They're not saving that as a surprise because their ticket sales for this Survivor Series in New York, which is like one of their biggest markets. WWE always sells good in New York. They ain't selling. There's still a bunch of tickets left. So
I feel like that's because the fan basically perception or intrigue in WWE is at an all-time low. They're making money hand over fist off of TV rights and stuff, but as far as like the fan interest in it, it's not very good. And I think it has to do with a lot with these releases, as well as what AEW is doing at the same time. Vala B with a super chat donation. Thank you once again, brother. Saying, as an Indian, I didn't care for that rap, to be honest. Not offended, just like it was whatever. Yeah, I mean,
with JJ, he thought it was kind of garbage.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, that rap was better than Top Dollar's Freestyle Friday, and that's not saying much, but yeah.
Yo, I'll give you this: Miz and Morrison have had the best battle rap so far when it comes to wrestlers rapping. Miz and Morrison.
No, they're hot garbage too. However, that
I know they are. I know they are. I'm just saying, comparatively speaking,
compared to them, it's not really saying much. But yeah, the rap they did for Braun Strowman though, I love that song. The Hey Hey Ho Ho,
the original
Braun Strowman one. Yeah, no, not the original one. The second one, the one when they were on the piano and they were dissing Braun Strowman when they had the whole handicap match for when he was Universal Champion.
Oh, I tried to forget my favorite. That. Thanks for reminding me.
That song was fire.
No, it was the whole angle where they were in.
That was terrible. Yes, yes.
In the freaking truck and jumping slime on fucking Strowman and shit. Romeo, you got something to add, brother?
Yes. Are you ready?
Yes.
Here it is.
I am dead. I am fucking dead. The hair.
That is great. This is why Romeo is the greatest producer in the history of producing, ladies and gentlemen. Screenshot those and post them on your social media, ladies and gentlemen, and tag Drunk Guy, tag the heel marks. That was great. That's fantastic. The hair puts it over the top for me.
Right?
The hair was,
and it looks like
Romeo.
It looks like I'm ranting right now in that picture
for
too.
Your service.
I love that so much. Brady, do you believe?
That shit was amazing.
Do you believe that WWE is showing a level of incompetence, if you will, with their plans with talent as of late? Because, you got this batch of releases, Hit Row, people were just talking about WWE having big plans for Top Dollar, changing the group around. Karrion Kross gets a release 2 weeks ago. People were talking about repackaging him, making him go back to Killer Kross, making him hot again. Keith Lee gets released 2 weeks ago. They already have repackaged him, made him Bearcat Lee. Does it show that WWE doesn't really know, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing type of thing going on right now?
I mean, there's a giant disconnect. That much is apparent. And it's clear, like, WWE doesn't even know what they're doing. Real quick, back to Hit Row, they were drafted on television. They had a prime draft slot. They did this draft. They act like it means something. Liv Morgan, who is currently the Raw Women's Champion, #1 contender, she was drafted off screen. You had to, I don't know if it was Raw Talking Smack, maybe it was just Twitter, but you had to look and find out where she was going. And now she's in a prominent position. I'm not complaining. I like Liv, and I think she should get a shot. But it's clear WWE didn't have these plans ahead of time, or else. What did she say? Overrated? I mean, does anyone actually say Liv Morgan's good? Everyone just says I like Liv Morgan. I want to see Liv Morgan.
Liv.
He doesn't like it because he's a Sasha Banks fan.
Right. I like Liv.
All the attention of Sasha.
Oh, is that really it? Is that just it?
No.
I'll be honest with you. In watching Liv do this stuff with Becky, I think it's apparent that I don't think she's ready yet. And so I give you that in terms of where the hype has taken her and what everyone's saying we're ready for Liv as champion. We're really not. I'll keep it real. We're really not. She's not there yet, especially with how on fire Becky's been. Big time Bex is you can never tell if she's her face because that crowd just loves her every time. And then if she wants them to boo her, they will. So Liv's definitely not there yet, but I love her attitude. I love the fact that she's trying to incorporate lucha styles and always improve. I just feel like she's portraying a character, and I need her to somehow connect to who Liv Morgan is and turn it up. She needs to be herself a little more, and I think then she'll get a little bit more natural on the mic, a little more natural on character. You see glimpses of it when she comes out. She hears a pop and then she does a little shimmy. You see that little glimpse of her loosening up, and then she snaps right back into it and does everything 1, 2, like that meme where they say how white people dancing is what they think. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's what I think when I see Liv Morgan doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
She's just two in her head. So I'm a big Liv Morgan fan, but I want to see her improve. So I'll agree with you. I'll give you that. She is overrated because the hype has gotten past where she's at.
Where she's at,
but
exactly.
Once again,
she can improve, absolutely.
Absolutely. I don't want to get away from your initial question though. When it comes to like even like Drake Maverick was brought back to Raw. He was doing this thing in NXT. They bring him to Raw for what? To just like let's return him to 24/7 stuff, and it's not even good 24/7 stuff. It's not like he actually led this stable of 24/7 outcasts that can actually become a champion. No, it was some Scooby Doo bullshit, like ridiculous. And one person I don't think we really got into yet, but this is just a crime that WWE for the second time couldn't make it work with John Morrison. Are you fucking shitting me? I
Oh,
thought
they
it was
ruined him
weird
from his
enough
debut, though.
from his debut
Yeah, they ruined him from his
the
debut.
Miz
Well, from his
Miz's
return,
locker room
excuse me.
door opens. Yeah, no, he opens the door. The Miz is not taking visitors now, and it's like, wait, that's how this guy is back. Bad enough they let the dirt sheets beat them to it and tell us he was back, but this is how they introduce him. And I listen, when they do stupid things with John Morrison, like make his character like really like just a dumb, like it's like fucking Eric from the later seasons of Boy Meets World, where he's just so silly. I roll my eyes, but also like I watched his movie that he sold his house to make, Boom the Bounty Hunter. This is the shit he enjoys to do. He likes that slapstick stupid comedy, and he's hilarious at it. For better or for worse, he is. So if that's what he wants to do you. But the fact that they never even saw like when Miz had to leave for Dancing with the Stars, the Miz is the one that turns heel on Morrison and beats him up. And then what? Like, how does that make sense? Why wouldn't Morrison attack the guy who's leaving? What? Like, so they have their heads up their asses, and sometimes it seems like their intention is to only keep people at certain levels. They never, and with Morrison, like you think, I don't, for the things he's able to do, and the fact that every company that ever gave him a shot has saw him as world championship material, but WWE, the place that discovered him, he's a homegrown talent, tough enough 2 or 3, I don't remember, but you know what I'm saying?
True.
Like, it was three. But so like that's what I'm saying. Like they could have made him such a big star, and as I said when talking about Swerve, the next company that picks him up will, wherever it's going to be. And hell, in 2021, I know the non-compete. I'm sorry, the no compete is it's mostly just wrestling, right? Like they could get a job elsewhere. If this guy decided to, especially with TikTok being what it is now, if he brought Boone the Bounty Hunter or any other character he wanted to create to life, even Johnny Drip Drip and his drip stick or whatever, like he could make a business, a podcast, he could do whatever the fuck he wants. And a lot of these people can. And so it's at the point where WWE is setting a lot of these people free. Drake Maverick in particular, like I'm huge on this guy. I almost was sad when he resigned, and not really because it was a pandemic. So listen, if somebody's giving you your job back, I get it.
Yeah.
Do your thing. But he had just done a video with EC3, big EC3 fan over here, and I love everything he's done for his people. All those videos, and he did like a video where he was just like, his name is Rock Star Bud, and the video got me so hyped. And then WWE scooped Drake back like the next week or 2 weeks later, and I was like, oh no, because you know how WWE sees that. You know how WWE is not trying to change.
No, they're not going to change anytime soon. Stuff like this is going to happen for a while. Like we are only 6 weeks left in 2021, and people are fearing that this is not the last time that they release talent. But you made a bunch of great points about Morrison and Drake Maverick. What about you, drunk guy JJ? Who do you think is the person out of this? Hey guys, good to be back. What did I miss? Who do you think out of this latest batch of releases is the one that is the most criminal misuse of talent?
Dougie, like we just talking about, definitely John Morrison. I just felt like if most of these guys don't care. A lot of people get second chances and they suck, but a guy who literally made his name outside of WWE when he left the first time, only to come back and literally be treated like a fucking joke from the beginning.
Yeah,
it just made no sense. Wasn't he the one to recruit to get back to tag teaming with Miz when he came back, right?
Well, I think Miz they did like that corny introduction, like Brady was saying, where he just walked in a room.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they was in like the locker rooms. I remember that.
Then they put the tag team back together, have to win the tag team titles, and they only hold it for a month. And then from there,
just B minus.
He basically became Miz's lackey.
Yeah, he became the sidekick for Miz.
At the time, the first run, they were equal. They were a tag team. They were equal. There was never. So I know Morrison didn't come back to be a lackey.
No.
So I bet he was just coasting, I guess, until he. So him getting released probably is a good thing. But definitely, I felt like this run could have meant a lot more for him for sure. He was only there for what, 2 years? He got released.
He came back. He came back at the end of 2019. Like it's just crazy to me that this guy, like Brady said, has gone to every promotion: Lucha Underground, AAA, Impact Wrestling, and been a top star, been a world champion. And he goes back to WWE. He doesn't even win a mid-card title. He doesn't even win the US or the Intercontinental title. This guy was having some of the best matches during the pandemic. His stuff with Matt Riddle was great. You know, he was having good matches, Keith Lee and stuff. So this guy is not. He was in one of the more high-profile matches of WrestleMania against Bad Bunny. Gave Bad Bunny one of the best celebrity matches of all time. It just doesn't make.
That's the highlight. That's the highlight of his second run in that match.
Yeah, most definitely.
I'm glad you said that too, because as credit where credit's due, Bad Bunny killed himself preparing for that. But that match is not what it is without Johnny Morrison doing the Canadian Swerve or the Bunny Destroyer, whatever they called it. But like legit, they worked their ass off to make him look like $1 million. And now you look at it and you're like, for what? For what? WWE really, like, they just want to keep people at a certain level. And whereas with AEW, I feel like it's almost what SmackDown used to claim to be. It's the land of opportunity, because even if they're not take somebody, I'm a huge fan of the blue collar badass JD Drake over in AEW. Now he's not in, like, you know, they're not doing crazy things with him. You don't see him on Dynamite every time, but they've done this before where if they want to go ahead and remind you how good he is, they can throw him in the ring with Darby Allin. They can throw him in the ring with Hangman Page, Bryan Danielson. They'll give you solid 15 minutes. He will not win, but he will remind everyone who the fuck he is. And for that night, everyone will be talking about, did you see what JD Drake can do? You watch John Morrison and Ricochet have a fucking awesome match. Remind us all what they can do. And it means nothing, because WWE doesn't want it to mean anything. So the next week and the next day, it will mean nothing. It will be like it never fucking happened. Ricochet has a great match with AJ Styles leading up to, I forget what pay-per-view it was, but it was probably Money in the Bank, because I think Ricochet was in that, so they needed him to feel important going into it. So for like that whole month, we're seeing Ricochet and AJ, and of course, we're being reminded how great they are, which is crazy since they're only giving us like 7-minute matches. But once again, as soon as Money in the Bank finishes and Ricochet is no longer needed to feel important, poof, he's gone. They gave us on Main Event, if anyone watches, they gave us tag team John Morrison and Ricochet. They called it Dripichet. Stupid name. But obviously these two guys, as talented as they are, like, they were able to fucking really make it work, and WWE just sees no reason to do anything because they don't want Ricochet to feel important. Right? Whereas if you're in AEW, whether you're on Dark, Elevation, they give you the time and they give you the talent to work with, where it's literally all on you. And we talk all the time about how the roster is stacked. Everyone's roster is stacked. It's all about how are you using these pieces. And WWE doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. It's sad too, because I was offered to go to Survivor Series, and I was like, I can't. I'm not invested. Like, I'm sorry. And it's not just the brand supremacy shit. It's the fact that how can I get invested in someone who may be gone in 2 weeks? I'm sorry, JJ. I know I'll cut you off.
Go ahead, JJ.
No, you're good. No, because what you said makes sense. Because I remember growing up, 90s, early 2000s. WWE, of course, the main event scene was the big focus. But when it came to mid card and everything else, they still had focus on it. They made shit. They had the mid card scene. They still made everything else outside of the main event feel important. Now that's not the case. If you're not the top guy, or you're not a big star for that matter, and inside the company, they don't really give a shit about nothing else. And that's the problem. Even outside of people being released, There's so much other talent they have on their roster that they don't invest in. Raw is 3 hours. Even when they have these fucking rematches for 6 weeks, there's no investment. There's no feud. You just give them a rematch. They go out there, have the rematch, and it continues. It's not even a story behind it. That's why it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
I've made this point before, I think over on Wrestling Daily, but WWE, after, Hulk Hogan leaves, Ultimate Warrior goes down, steroids and all that stuff, the steroids trial, they had a necessity to make more than one star. They made Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Diesel, Razor Ramon at that time. Then you transition into the Attitude Era and it becomes even more robust. Like, you have your top stars, your Stone Cold, you're The Rock, your Triple H, but you also got The Undertaker, Mankind, Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit. But I think from, that the Attitude Era, and even in Ruthless Aggression, you had the SmackDown 6, you had Brock Lesnar, you had Triple H, you had a whole bunch of guys. But once John Cena became the top guy, they reverted back to the 80s. They reverted back to that Hulk Hogan type of booking where there's one guy, and then there's one guy, there's the company, and then there's everyone else underneath them. It was like that with John Cena. It's been like that with Roman Reigns. And it's going to continue to be like that with the way they are releasing talent as much as they are. We do want to highlight a couple of the comments that we got here in the live chat. We got Alan Weinstein saying, love Miz, but Jomo is way too good to play second fiddle to anyone. He also mentions, thank you, Alan Weinstein. He says, way off topic, I just joined True Hill Heat Patreon. So much great extra stuff. I encourage everyone to join. Yes, thank you.
He must have saw the one night in China episode we did, huh?
What? That's coming. That's coming. Don't tease the people.
No pun intended.
Slam is.
Did you just say that's coming? Come on, Sid.
They didn't even realize that. Slam and Sammy Joe saying, yeah, Patreon is awesome. Follow B saying WWE is just making content these days. Alan Weinstein saying WWE had way too many people on their rosters, so they needed to let some people go, but they do it so shady all the time. Couldn't say it better myself. The list goes on and on with the amount of people, 130 plus since 2020. Romeo, you got something to add?
I just love to do this. I wanted to do it again. Join us Sunday for our Survivor Series watch along. WWE will be here watching the show. You can watch with us.
With the rest of the roster,
Yeah, absolutely, with that big, robust roster that they are building up. But yes, we want to hear from you guys. Continue bringing your comments in the live chat. Super chat donations are always appreciated. We want to hear your thoughts on the WWE releases. Where do you think some of these superstars will go? To wrap things up, I'm going to go through each superstar very quickly, go to Brady, Drunk Guy, and myself, and we will say where we think they will end up come February. Yes, just one word. Come February, where do these people end up? Drake, Maverick, Brady.
Impact.
Drunk Guy?
You said Drake, Maverick?
Yes.
Yeah, Impact.
I'm going to say the Independents. I think that he's going to go around the Indies.
Real quick, I've also always thought Drake Maverick has major Hollywood capabilities. Like, I don't know if he wants to. It seems like professional wrestling is his only love. But yeah, I always saw crossover potential in him. And so I think he might be, like I said, 90 days is a long time to wait. He doesn't have to not do anything. So he may do that.
And he showed that with that vignette that he posted once he got released.
That was really good.
It was really good. Shane Thorne, Drunk Guy.
Being his wife.
Whoa! Where did that come from? Wait,
what he said?
He said beating his wife.
Nah,
like,
yo,
I don't know.
No Zach Stacy.
I'm thinking of a Forgotten Son. Like a bunch of guys just chew tobacco, smack.
No, that's a different person.
Shane Thorne wasn't even in Forgotten Son. What are you
Look at that. He's so forgotten. I thought he was a part of Forgotten Sons. Crazy. Look at that.
Can't take this dude anywhere. Oh my god.
What was he doing? Oh, the tag team, right? Damn.
He was a part of
Jesus.
Retribution. He was Slapjack.
Indies.
Brady, where do you Shane Thorne?
I think the Aussie Alliance could get reformed, but I also could see him do New Japan.
Tegan Knox. Well, for Shane Thorne, yeah, I can see New Japan strong. Tegan Knox, Brady.
I'm sad we didn't actually talk about Tegan because she's another one where they call her up and just give her 3 wins over the tag champions, no title shot, split up the tag team.
I forgot. Yo.
She won 10 straight matches before she was released. I just wanted to just say that, by the way.
And she was on fire in NXT before they caught another one where it's just everything's growing, and then there's a disconnect that we're not seeing, and someone just kind of like, oh yeah, wait, I forgot her name. Okay, let's get rid of her. It's like, wait, what? Do you not watch your own product? I'm sorry. I could see her going to AEW.
Drunk Guy, where do you see Tegan Knox going?
Anywhere she wants, honestly. She's very talented. She got a bad rep, leaving NXT, going to the main roster, placing a pointless tag team to win every week, being the champs, and they do nothing. Literally. So definitely wherever she want to go. So definitely the AEW could use somebody like her for sure.
Yeah, AEW could definitely use her, but I'm gonna go with Impact Wrestling. I think Impact needs an ace or anchor to go along with Deonna Purrazzo. They have the heel for the future. They don't have the face, and I think that Tegan Knox can fill that role very nicely. Let's go with John Morrison. Let's go with John Morrison. Where do you think John Morrison will land next, Drunk Guy?
Maybe he becomes an actor. Maybe he doesn't want to wrestle now. Maybe he's like, fuck it.
Brady?
Fuck it.
I think anywhere he wants to. I think every door is going to be open for him, and I also think those doors aren't really closing, no matter which door you go into. So I could see him just going around New Japan, AAA, Impact, just making his return tour, and then finishing up with AEW, where he gets to really make dream matches happen. And as we talked about, remind the world, yeah, WWE fucked up. You forgot who the fuck
Morrison,
I was.
Dante Martin. There you go.
Ooh, that would be dope.
Johnny Dynamite, Johnny Rampage,
Johnny Elite. Johnny
Rampage.
They do it to keep it
no,
simple.
He nailed it. Johnny Rampage. That's got to be it.
I mean, she can only work on Fridays.
Exactly. Like what? Let's go with now Hit Row, Ashanti the Adonis. I mean for me for Johnny Elite or Johnny Impact, I could see him going back to Impact Wrestling. Him and Taya Valkyrie. I think that they had a good thing going over there, so I could see them going back there. But I could see him kind of floating around from like AAA, Impact, that type of stuff, going through the Forbidden Door possibly as well. As far as Ashanti the Adonis, Brady, where do you see the lowest level member of Hit Row going? No offense to him.
I mean, I think that this is going to be one of those like see above answer here thing. I think it's really going to come down to what Swerve wants to do. If Swerve wants to stick with these 4, then I think all 4 will be able to kind of take offers. I don't know if AEW would be ready to jump right in the sack with Hit Row, but I'm sure Impact would give them the time. Like I'm sure and as I said, with all the resources that Francis and they all have, with their podcasts and studios, they can use these next 90 days to really create a firestorm of energy. So if Swerve wants to keep this going, then I think all 4 we're going to have success wherever they want to go. However, it's important to remember that this was Francis's baby. This was his idea. This was his thing he was doing before NXT. And if you believe the rumors, I should say, and he is the problem child, and AEW and whoever aren't going to want to work with him because he's too big of a star or whatever, Swerve may say, okay, brother, love you, but I got to do my thing here. So for all four, really, I think it all comes down to what Swerve wants. And if Swerve doesn't want to stick together, I could see the three of them not necessarily continuing.
Yeah, I don't see a place that would take on Top Dollar at this point. So that's why it's maybe if Swerve's just bringing along Adonis and B-Fab, maybe I could see them going anywhere they want, the pick of the litter. But with Top Dollar, it seems like he has an attitude issue, and he's already started at least to burn the bridge with All Elite Wrestling. So, but speaking of Top Dollar, where do you think he's gonna head to, Brady?
It's kind of like my last answer, where if Swerve doesn't stick with him, I don't think he stays in wrestling. I think, and I think it's for the main reason that I think he's rubbing people the wrong way. It's because he doesn't need wrestling. He can do what he wants. He's paid. If he wants to return to recapping college sports or NFL games on whatever network will have him, he can do that. TMZ Sports probably has a spot lined up for him. He can do Freestyle Fridays on a bunch of different networks. So I think Swerve and this foursome is his only shot to stay in wrestling. Same as a shot.
Drunk guy, what about you?
For Top Dollar?
Yeah.
Just probably buying some more Kyrie.
Nada.
Dropping another rap album that's trash. I don't see him doing anything outside of WWE. Most of these guys only know WWE as wrestling. So he definitely strikes me as one of those people that knows WWE just as wrestling. I love B-Fab, the same thing with her. These people, I feel like they use this to, and there's nothing wrong with it. No, not nobody's hustle, but they use this to like blossom into something bigger. It's just good for them. It's good for their career path, whatever they want to do. There's nothing wrong with that. So I don't see him honestly doing anything. And I could be wrong. Maybe he does, but I see him focusing on other things that's not wrestling, like dropping another trash album. Or Freestyle Fridays.
I could see him leaving wrestling completely or re-signing with WWE. Honestly, I could see after like a few months or a year, Top Dollar being back in WWE because he tries to wave that flag so much. I don't even know if we should ask Jason Riker. I'm not even going to say a thing because I want him out of wrestling.
He already gave his answer for that.
He'll be at KKK rallies coming soon.
Sounds good to me. And then finally, Isaiah Swerve Scott, or should we say Shane Swerve Strickland, will be back in wrestling. I say AEW 100%.
Oh, without a doubt. And he has a lot of friends.
I think he goes everywhere.
Over there already.
I think he goes everywhere.
Maybe he shows back up at MLW for a little bit. Who knows?
He could. He's that talented. Everybody's gonna definitely want him. Yeah, Evolve is done.
You know where I can see him being. We've been saying the indies, and the indies are so many, but an indie that's really been creating like just a firestorm of energy around themselves is GCW. I got to go to a GCW show in Atlantic City not too long ago, and the amount of indie talent that seems to frequent there a lot, like rising stars like Ninja Mac, and just there's so many other Shane Mercer, all these guys. I could see Shane Strickland just killing it with all of them. So I think Shane Strickland's going to go around. I think this is his time to remind everyone who the fuck he is. And I think a place like AEW gives him a lot of dream matches with a lot of the same possibilities WWE gives you. It gives you packed arenas. It gives you money to feed your family. And it gives you great talent and the ring time necessary to showcase your craft. So I think he'll do a little trip around the world with AEW being his final destination.
I think he signs with AEW and still does the independent trip around the world because that's the bright side of signing with All Elite Wrestling is that you can do both. But we gotta cover what we missed. What we missed, of course, was what we previewed last week on True Hill Heat. AEW Full Gear 2021. What a show it was in Minneapolis, Minnesota at the Tarjay Center. It was main evented by a fantastic match, one of the better matches of the year. Hangman Page defeating Kenny Omega to win the AEW World Championship. You also had a tremendous opener of MJF defeating Darby Allin, thanks to the punch from the Dynamite Diamond Ring and a headlock takeover, of course. You also had Christian Cage and Jurassic Express defeat the Super Click in an insane Falls Count Anywhere matchup. CM Punk beat Eddie Kingston in an intense, bloody brawl that lived up to all the hype going into it. You also had Britt Baker successfully defend the AEW World Women's Championship against Ty Conti, as well as the Inner Circle defeat American Top Team and the Men of the Year. So a jam-packed show for sure. A lot of stuff going down. Bryan Danielson defeated Miro to win the AEW World Title Eliminator. Lucha Bros defeated FTR to retain the AEW World Tag Team titles. But it was all about that main event and Hangman's coronation. Drunk Guy JJ, you were there live. How did it feel, and what was your match of the night?
You already know, man. I don't get disappointed going to AEW shows. At least I haven't yet. Great atmosphere. So close to the action, you know. For the most part, I was just hanging over at the barricade, just, you know, acting like a mark that I am. Being there for Hangman's, you know, everybody going in, we felt Hangman was winning. So that moment, the whole setup with the Young Bucks, that whole ending sequence was great. Him cutting that promo after the show went off the air about winning the title. He said, he's going to tell another lie. I'll say he'll be world champ forever. That whole, just such great shit. My match of the night, though, I won't say it's changed because I haven't watched Full Gear since we were there. So I loved that 6-man Falls Count Anywhere match. That Darby MJF, it's just so hard to like pinpoint a match because that Darby MJF was crazy. Like it took me by surprise because that's going into the show. I didn't expect a match like that from them. I didn't expect that match to be that good. Anybody can pull out a great match, especially if you're talented. But I didn't expect that match to. It definitely exceeded my expectations. That six man Falls Count Anywhere match was fucking crazy. That was crazy. But that main event was, when you think of it, when you think of Full Gear, you're gonna think of that main event, Hangman winning the title. So, I guess for important purposes, I guess I would go with the main event because that's gonna be a moment that's gonna be good as one of the biggest moments for AEW. So.
I think the most memorable thing out of this show is that everyone will probably a year from now have different match of the years when you go in a panel of people and ask them, Brady, what was your match of the night? And do you think that Full Gear stands up as one of the better shows of the year?
Definitely, yes. I actually agree with, I don't know his full name. It was ALW. I saw your live chat guy.
Alan Weinstein. Yeah.
Adam Weinstein, fellow Jew, what up? Jew-Tang Clan. I agree with him. Kingston and Punk. I think it was one of the shortest matches of the night.
Yeah.
But it didn't need to be longer. Like everything they brought. And I might be a little biased. I'm a big Kingston fan. You can't be from Brooklyn and not. Kingston is the most Brooklyn wrestling has ever gotten. Like I feel like they took Tim's and a fucking 99-cent slice of pizza and they put it in a wrestling ring. And that's Eddie Kingston. Like I fucking love it.
But to cut you, and I love to pick up. Sorry to cut you up, but to pick up on what you're saying, that was the shortest match, but it was billed as a fight. Ain't no fight going no fucking 20-30 minutes.
Right.
Know? It's a fight. They're beating the shit out of each other. From the first.
Exactly.
Once the bell rung. So.
With the spinning back fist. That was just great stuff. Forgot to mention.
I love that. And then the sadistic smile from Kingston after he does it. It's like, oh my God, like just inject this into my veins and never let it stop. So yeah, man, I marked out for that. To what we were saying about the main event and how we all knew Hangman was gonna win. What I love is that AEW did everything in their power to make us think it could go another way.
Yeah.
Even the people who knew Kenny Omega and had been reading about Kenny Omega working through injuries and he's got like fucking 5 surgeries he has to get done. So this is his last show. Even the people who knew that, even people who knew Hangman, this story's been told for over years since AEW started. Like this is it. This is the night. They by giving us Bryan Danielson going over Miro, not the dominating heel.
Yeah.
So now people are thinking, wait a minute, are they giving us Bryan Danielson Omega again? the Young Bucks coming down, and then you thinking, oh wait, here it goes again. But then, so I love that they did try to get us, and that along with the storytelling they've been doing for however long AEW's been a thing, it all came together to make that beautiful moment.
Absolutely. You have something to add, Romeo?
I had to leave the roundtable review a little bit early. I didn't get a chance to see. Did anyone bring up? Hopefully, Jimmy. Did anyone bring up anything like the Young Bucks grandstanding Hangman Page's moment a little bit there?
Oh my god!
Because they didn't. They didn't.
Yeah, I think they kind of did there. Kind of made it about themselves at the end there.
Because it completed the story from All Out 2019 when they didn't show up in his corner. This time they did and nodded and gave their approval. So be gone with your AEW.
Come on, man. Let me say something else. That was the greatest AEW pay-per-view of all time.
I think All Out 2021 was better, but it's very. I wouldn't be mad at.
I see a toss up.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I would say that this is a top 3 or top 4 AEW pay-per-view. Because I don't think a lot of people, when they just say, "Oh, this is the best," or "This is the best since All Out," or second to All Out, they remember how great All Out Double or Nothing 2019, their first show ever, was, and how great Revolution 2020 was. I think people forget that because it's been like
it's easy
over
to forget this stuff. It's easy to forget this stuff. There's a lot of like old movies. Like for example, if I watched like the fucking Sandlot today, I could easily just remember how much I loved it. Be like, yo, this is like one of my favorite movies. And then I can watch another movie that I haven't seen in like a decade or two. This is my favorite movie. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's very easy and I've always had this expression where I think the goal of anyone, if you're a rapper, wrestler, whatever you're doing, the first should always be the worst and the next should always be the best. You always want to improve. AEW never stops improving. They never stop getting better. And even if a pay-per-view they did a year ago or 2 years ago is their best, these pay-per-views are all so fucking awesome that we forget about it. And we start convincing ourselves, yo, this might have been the best match I've ever seen, the best moment, the best show. And it's a credit to AEW constantly having their finger on the pulse of us wrestling fans. And knowing their audience and what we want. And what we want to see is people, I've said this a million times already, but showing us what the fuck they can do. MJF, we know he's a king on the stick. But in that match, and you referenced it, he got to show a different side. He got to remind you all, oh yeah, I can do this in here too. I really am the future of this fucking industry. And then, of course, they'll go right back on the mic and tell you about it all again. You know, so... oh my God, they're just doing so many things good, all at the same time. And you referenced earlier about how back in the day, you know, Attitude Era had all these stars at the same time. Your Mankind's, your Rocks, your Stone Colds, your Undertakers. We talked about how you can't even recognize that type of thinking in WWE, but when you look in AEW, are we not being reminded of this? Look at all the stars that they've made. Right. Look at all the stars that made themselves. Look at all the stars they had.
The stories they're telling.
Moxley and Kenny. Exactly. They're without Moxley and Omega for maybe a year just to overshoot. And we're not going to miss them because of all this talent they haven't even scratched the surface with yet.
Yeah, if any other company lost their top 2 guys, Moxley and Omega, we'd be pushing the panic button. If WWE lost Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, which is the equivalent, they would be going insane. Vince would be pulling out his hair at the moment. But Full Gear was a great show. No buts about it. But also AEW had a bunch of other shows this week. AEW Rampage last night had Jurassic Express defeat Adam Cole and Bobby Fish in a very good main event. You also had Jade Cargill beat Red Velvet in a good contest to advance in the TBS Women's Championship Tournament. And Darby Allin defeated Billy Gunn with 2 coffin drops. It took 2 coffin drops to beat Big Bad Billy Gunn. How bad did that?
He kicked out at 1.
How bad did that piss you off?
That pissed me. You go. it's funny how we're praising AEW, we love AEW, and then you know they do shit like this. You don't I guess that we're gonna play up on Darby being hurt thing. I don't know if that was the case. It was why he kicked out. You do not have motherfucking Billy Gunn. We were just talking about the Attitude Era. Motherfucker who was old in the Attitude Era. Kick out of a guy you're building up as one of the pillars of your company of his finisher. Like that. Kicking out like that as well. Like, no. Or Rampage. What the fuck?
Yeah, they definitely. There's sometimes they're not obviously not perfect. There's definitely some head scratching moments, and AEW doesn't always do their best job at protecting certain finishers. I agree with you. It's kind of ridiculous when you hear about it. If I have to play devil's advocate, and this is more wishful thinking, I've always wanted Darby Allin to get a new finisher. I think the coffin drop is cool looking, but I don't think it should be the finisher. And listen, I'm not a sizist, but the fact of the matter is, a smaller guy doing that move isn't going to hurt as much. Like if Otis does the coffin drop to you, you're dead. Like you're fucking dead. But for me, Darby Allin, like him doing it is an awesome setup move. But the guy's going to then get up. So I think Darby needs a new finisher, and maybe this is the catalyst to it. I'm probably just wishful thinking. I'm probably just trying to like make sense out of it, but that's what I'm hoping.
No, Mr. Ass kicked out at 1 to the fucking in 2021. We call out the BS even when it's AEW, but we got to move on to the other show from last night, which was SmackDown. SmackDown had Big E make a surprise appearance, helping King Woods fight off the bloodline and standing tall ahead of his showdown with Roman Reigns this Sunday. Sheamus defeated Cesaro, Ricochet, and Jinder Mahal in a fun fatal 4-way to become the final member of Team SmackDown. And your favorite drunk guy, JJ, Sasha Banks, beat Shotzi in a good matchup to get a measure of revenge. What did you like from SmackDown this past week, drunk guy?
The closing segment. That Big E Roman showdown at the end, that whole setup was fucking dope. I hate that it's the first time they interacted, leading it to a big. Well, I guess they don't give a fuck about survivorship from what I've seen.
No, not really.
So it's not really. I can't say a big show because I don't even know if survivorship is considered important now. Because wow, the bill for this. But that's going off topic. It's about SmackDown. The 4-way was cool. I was almost scared because the way they've been booking Survivor Series lately, when Shotzi kept attacking Sasha's arm through the thing, I'm like, yo, she's about to do the injury angle and they're gonna take her off the team. I was.
That's what Survivor Series needed.
Yeah, exactly. I was panicking over there. But even that, they had a very good match. Her and Shotzi, they worked very well together. I hope this isn't the end. Hopefully they do some. I mean, Shotzi lost, but they can still pick back up on the feud. I guess Shotzi cost her at Survivor Series or something of that matter. Like you said, fun 4-way. I wanted Sheamus to win. It was either Sheamus or Cesaro for me to be added to the team. So Sheamus won, so whatever. It's all good.
Continued the whole Ridge Holland storyline as well.
Yeah, exactly, that too. So Ridge Holland's probably going to play a factor to helping Sheamus eliminate somebody on Sunday or tomorrow. The Woods bloodline shit I thought was stupid. You basically showing that you don't care about the King of the Ring. You just
they basically showed that they bought the King of the Ring crown from Burger King.
Yeah, that too. Don't get me started. Nobody's ripping a fucking crown like that. I don't give a fuck if you're Roman, Godzilla. Nobody's ripping a damn a legit crown like that. That was bullshit.
A metal crown.
A metal crown at that, right? And that didn't even like the crown that he was. Well, it probably wasn't the crown that he's been wearing. It didn't even look like that. Like that anyway. But yeah, it was dumb. I didn't like the whole setup for that. Only because what does it do for Woods? Now Woods just looks like he doesn't look like a king. He looks like a peasant.
Not much for Woods at all. We got Slam and Sammy Joe saying so. Roman buried King of the Ring, and by extension, every legend who has ever won it. Damn, that's deep. That's deep. That's
deep. I wouldn't go that far, but that's kind of deep.
do you guys think the brand split will end after the pay-per-view?
Hell no.
No. That's something that they're gonna keep
Brand
using.
supremacy. Yeah.
Over on AEW Dynamite had a tremendous episode of professional wrestling from top to bottom, highlighted by a fantastic kiss my ass.
He looked like he got no teeth in his picture.
It does.
Gums.
Yes, the Dynamite this week actually drew 981,000 viewers, and it was highlighted by a fantastic main event with Sammy Guevara defeating Jay Lethal to retain the TNT championship in Lethal's in-ring debut after debuting for AEW back at Full Gear on over the weekend. You had Bryan Danielson turn heel in a masterful opening segment for Hangman Page celebrating the AEW World Title win, only for Bryan to interrupt, name-dropping WrestleMania and trading barbs and blows with Page before defeating Evil Uno. After the match, Danielson says he will go through the Dark Order, and next week he faces Colt Cabana in Chicago. MJF cut two excellent promos, one after his classic with Darby at Full Gear, and the other in front of the fans, where he said no one measures up to him, only for CM Punk to interrupt, sparking what the feud that all of us have always wanted of Punk versus MJF. I thought that this was a tremendous episode, one of their better post pay-per-view episodes of Dynamite. Brady, what was the highlight of the night for you?
Oh, for me, it was definitely the Bryan Danielson heel turn. I love that we should have seen it coming, but I'll speak for myself. I didn't until I saw a glimmer of it when he's coming down the ramp and starts clapping for Hangman, and I'm kind of like, wait a minute, is that the dragon? So when he just gets started, one thing I'm reading online, and then I'm not trying to take anything away from Hangman, he's so over, he's their guy right now. But everyone's saying Hangman turned Danielson. Like, Hangman's so over, he turned Danielson. No. They were in his hometown, and Danielson turned Danielson. Everything Danielson did, for every little thing he did from the second he walked out, Danielson turned himself. Danielson played that crowd like fiddles. I love that he got them to a point where he's able to say, of course, Virginia would boo hard work. When, of course, they're booing the WrestleMania name drop, and as they're booing, I wrestled the next day! It was perfect. I love Bryan Danielson when he's able to be himself. And in reality, Bryan Danielson is more similar to Brock Lesnar people give him credit for. He doesn't like us. He doesn't like people. He thinks we're all stupid. We're all destroying the planet. We're fucking wasting everything. I love it. He said it in Sammy Guevara's blog, I think. He said, there's a lot of problems in this world. We were counting on the young people to solve the problems, but they're not. They're just out there making vlogs. And it was the first glimpse I had gotten of heel Danielson since Captain Planet. So I love that AEW wasn't scared. They're not scared to take one of their top faces that fans have been waiting years to really get to cheer for. And they're like, you know what? Now let's let you be the badass you are. Let's unleash you, and let's let you kick everybody's fucking head in.
Romeo?
I was gonna say that at first
this guy pops up like a pimple on prom night. Jesus.
And then you leave. I was gonna say that at first I thought
yourself.
At first I thought Danielson, everything he was saying was it's just being a badass. He was making sense. But then once he had that submission after the bell on Evil Uno, I was like, yeah, he's a heel.
No, I knew from the promo, he was doing certain stuff to draw that reaction. Yeah. And this is the closest we've gotten to the Bryan Danielson that was the top heel in Ring of Honor. Planet's champion was great, don't get me wrong, but that was a gimmick. That was just overemphasizing what he really believed. And the anger management, Daniel Bryan was basically WWE not listening to the fans. So those two pale in comparison to Ring of Honor American Dragon.
But since his debut, even though he's been the face and going against the Elite, he's kind of been hinting at it. He said, yeah. I'm not here to help the new talent. I don't care about the new talent. I'm here to be the best. Fuck these guys. I don't care about them. I'm here to be great.
Someone said it best. It was more of a heel reveal more than a turn because he's kind of been a heel in plain sight, but they made it obvious on this episode. We got a super chat donation from the Negro Buck Nick Jackson. Thank you, good brother, saying for the Ring of Heat fund, helping the boys helps me feel better when while I'm hungover. We appreciate that. Last couple of things that we missed from the week: WWE Raw, they drew 1.584 million viewers. They had Seth Rollins and the Usos beat Big E and RK Bro in a 6-man tag. You also had Kevin Owens officially say that he will be the bad guy the fans want him to be, and defeated Finn Balor. You also had Bobby Lashley defeated Rey Mysterio, and Adam Pearce removed Mysterio from Team Raw, replacing him with Austin Theory. So a lot of changes.
That guy was not a former champion, by the way.
Yeah, that was the reason why he took out Dominic, only to replace him with replace Ray with someone who's not a champion. Never
won a fucking title.
Over on NXT 2.0, they drew 574,000 viewers. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams attempted to injure the drawing hand of Dexter Lumis, which sets up a chain of events that led to Hayes versus Johnny Gargano versus Pete Dunne was made for the main event for next week. Toxic Attraction and interfered in the Raquel Gonzalez versus Dakota Kai main event, leading to Io Shirai and Cora Jade making the save to set up the Women's War Games match. In New Japan Pro Wrestling, Battle in the Valley happened. Okada defeated Buddy Matthews in a great matchup, as well as Tomohiro Ishii defeated Switchblade Jay White to become the new never open weight champion in the main event. And then Impact Wrestling had, speaking of New Japan, Minoru Suzuki in the main event as Josh Alexander defeated Minoru Suzuki in a brilliant technical wrestling clinic. And it was announced that Wrestle House Season 2 will kick off next week. So that is all what we missed from the week. Definitely check out Suzuki versus Alexander. It was a great match. But now that leads us into our news rundown, fellas. It was previously reported that Johnny Gargano's contract is set to expire on December 3rd, which is only 2 weeks away. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that Johnny Wrestling hasn't signed a new deal with the company yet, but WWE is pushing very hard for him to sign. According to the report, WWE has made a very strong offer for Gargano to stay with WWE. Brady, do you think Johnny Gargano re-signs with WWE in 2 weeks?
Absolutely not. You know who WWE also made a strong play for? Adam Cole. You know how they did it? Adam Cole, but you know how they did it? Well, if the rumors are to believe, it's by telling him to shave his head, change his name, and manage somebody that they would go on to release about a month later anyway. But also what they did was they released a whole bunch of his friends the same fucking day they were meeting with him, which is essentially exactly what they've done here with Johnny Gargano. They had Johnny Gargano in Colorado. The last set of releases where Lindsay Dorado and everybody else was in there, they had Kyle O'Reilly and Johnny Gargano over doing dark matches in SmackDown, which is usually what they do when they want to decide, hey, do we want to call you up? Do we want to release you? Do we want to let it roll? We haven't heard anything about Kyle O'Reilly. So my guess is they're just saying, all right, you know what, cool, Kyle, go. And we could probably get an undisputed reunion over somewhere else. With Johnny, they, of course, want him. Johnny's not staying. Kevin Owens isn't staying. WWE is going to realize that they fucked up bad because all the people that they should have made into stars and they should have just given the keys to the kingdom, they're all piecing out to go wrestle with their friends. And the guys they did make into superstars, Roman Reigns, he's following in his family's footsteps by being champion and then fucking leaving. That guy's going to fucking Hollywood. It's going to happen. Edge, your fucking guy, you come back, he comes back, main event WrestleMania. Guess what? Everyone says Edge is a lifer. Bullshit. Edge will eventually leave. He will go. He will have his dream matches with
48 years old.
It's happening. It's still happening.
Done soon.
Nah, bro. He'll have Edge will sit at home and he'll say, "Do I have one more?" Yeah. And Kenny Omega, it will happen. Edge will go over.
That's what I don't see. I don't see. But
remember it, people. Remember this episode of Tool Heat. You heard it here first. Edge versus Kenny Omega. That shit happened.
If you're right, I'll give it to you, and I will praise you for that call there. Also, WWE News, the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports there have been a lot of talks of Volta moving to the United States, which would mean he'd more likely be on the main roster. When the former NXT UK champion originally signed with WWE, he signed for a very good money deal compared to the rest of the brand to be their top star. He agreed to work the US when asked for occasional NXT and WWE appearances, but wouldn't move there for family reasons. The pandemic made travel difficult, but he still was able to make a few appearances, and apparently some things have changed that he would be open to a main roster run. And according to WrestleVotes, there is some legit animosity between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch heading into their match on Sunday. However, WWE is expecting.
No, you had it right too, Ric Flair as well.
Yeah, that's you are right. WWE is expecting 100% professionalism from both wrestlers, and the finish to the match is said to have been greatly debated.
My
here we go.
The Brooklyn Screwjob. Let's go.
Here we go. Brooklyn Screwjob coming up. AEW news, which we got to get into. Kenny Omega, as Brady kind of alluded to earlier, will be taking time off from AEW to deal with a shoulder injury, which is believed to require surgery. According to the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, Omega will actually need multiple surgeries that could keep him out for a while. Dave Meltzer reported that Omega has a lot of issues. These include with his shoulder, knees, and an abdominal hernia that he's been working through, as well as vertigo for the past 3 years, among other things. Omega reportedly wants to get a lot of his issues taken care of at the same time. And reportedly, Meltzer reported that Omega will not defend the AAA Mega Championship on December 4th at Regine against Vikingo now. The Wrestling Observer newsletter has more details on Omega's injury, saying that he suffered a hip injury in a match with Laredo Kid and has had issues with a lack of rotation and mobility in his neck for years. He also noted previously that he's had vertigo since 2018, and he said that he's at times in the ring and he feels like things are spinning around him, and he's had to learn to wrestle while he's had that sensation. He's worked with a torn labrum in his shoulder for most of the year, as well as the hernia and knee issues, and there have been times that he's been in great pains and other times that the pain hasn't been as bad. He's been working constantly at rehab with medical treatments to continue to wrestle, and it was noted that in private, he wondered if he had done too much damage and limited his remaining time in wrestling. So, like I said, he won't be wrestling at the AAA event against Vikingo. Omega will likely be getting surgery for another issue as well, and he will use different specialists for each surgery, which are reportedly not major, and the belief that he will return around late February. Drunk Guy JJ, how impressed are you with Kenny Omega, knowing what he's been going through and the year 2021 he's given us?
I would have been bitching just with my shoulder alone. This man got a stomach pain, knee pains, torn everywhere. If let him, honestly, I feel like they should let him relax until around Double or Nothing. You got so much, like we were saying earlier, AEW has so much talent right now that they will be fine without him for a while. Omega's in his late 30s, man. If he wants to continue wrestling, shit, he gotta take care of that, only because you don't want to have a freak accident or to the point he gets old and he can't do anything. We love Omega. Omega's been putting out classics with all those injuries. So imagine how much better he can feel if he takes care of all that, lets his body rest. They don't need him right now. Let him. He's lost the belt. He had it for almost a year. Let him take time off. Let him heal. So I honestly feel like he should heal and stay out till around the next big pay-per-view, which is Double or Nothing.
No, Revolution and
Revolution, but
really much.
Honestly, yeah. But even with that, like, let him return to Revolution, and if that's the case, or around that time, like, they don't need him for Revolution. Just let him heal up. That's a lot of injuries. That's a lot of injuries that can get bad. So if he's getting surgery and all that, just let him heal up for a few months.
Bruh, with all those injuries, with the ring spinning, 5.5 stars. 5.5 stars.
Crazy.
5.5 stars. That's Saturday against.
And he said, and that was going on for 3 years. That man, so it's been going on since he's been in New Japan.
Yeah.
And those all the classic, the Okada matches, the Tanahashi matches, the Ishii matches, working the G1, all of that. That's crazy.
That's insane. We got a super chat donation here from Easy Attack Professor Chris saying, "How do you even go into a WWE contract at this point and expect them to honor it? They have shown that those contracts don't mean shit." Yes, a great comment there from Chris. Thank you for the super chat donation. Frantic World saying, "Vertigo is no joke. I have vertigo, and it made you feel bad." What do you think, Brady? What do you think about all these injuries to Omega?
Bro, here's the thing. Like I said earlier, I obviously peruse the dirt sheets. I read the rumors. I read the headlines. So I've read for a long time about his injuries and stuff like this. But if you don't read it and if you just watch his matches, you'd never fucking know.
Never.
Like you would have no clue. And like the Meltzer ratings is cool to bring up, but let's be real. This guy has blown our minds in the ring. He has lived up to every bit of hype. This guy was always the unsung hero of wrestling. He was the best wrestler who will never work for WWE. And if you don't work for WWE for a while, you couldn't really be considered the best wrestler in the world. PWI, they weren't acknowledging you. And so now I feel like when everyone's talking about how long he wrestled hurt for and all this stuff, this was his time and he knew it. This was his time. I'll say it, but if people are taking shots, they're about to get wasted every time I say this. But he's showing you what the fuck he can do and who he is. He is the best wrestler in the world. He is the best bout machine. He is Kenny Omega the Cleaner. And he has been sweeping everybody off their feet with fucking vertigo. I'm sorry. I know I curse a lot. I apologize.
No, you're fine here.
What? Like, legit? Are you kidding me? Like, there's two things in wrestling that have happened like over the past few years that I think need to be made movies. First is the New Day story. That I need a New Day movie. I need Childish Gambino to play Xavier Woods.
Oh.
And also, I need Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega. It doesn't even have to be Kenny. You could name someone else. But a wrestler learning to wrestle with vertigo? Like, what? What? This just blows my mind. And you'd never know. He's better than everybody. It's crazy. And so I can't say how much respect I have for him for not wanting, like, for knowing the opportunity and how much was on the line and really putting the whole company on his back at a time they needed it and helping create the stars that are now going to fill in the gaps, the power vacuums with him gone. I think the whole late February, I'm hoping that's a joke. As JJ said, let this man rest. Like it's about to be Thanksgiving. We done with November already. This is 3 months. You're telling me? Nah, bro. You got vertigo. You got 5 surgeries to happen, bro. Please enjoy yourself. Go to Disney World. Chill. Like, chill, bro. We good.
Go relax. Go play some. Go play some video games, Kenny.
Game.
Go on G4 with Xavier Woods. Go on G4. He wants you there.
Absolutely. Other AEW news, according to a report by Brandon Thurston with WrestleNomics, AEW Full Gear 2021 is projected to become AEW's second highest grossing pay-per-view event of all time. The current estimates have the event drawing an estimated 145,000 pay-per-view buys. The early buy rate is based on all pay-per-view buys, including worldwide, traditional, digital, live, or event replays. Additional cable and satellite providers take a longer amount of time to report those numbers, but the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that the show had an attendance of just over 10,500 fans, under a sellout of 13,000 for a wrestling event. That's around just over 10,000 paid for a $640,000 live gate, the third largest in company history. Full Gear is behind the $700,000 gate for All Out 2021 in Chicago and the $960,000 gate for Dynamite Grand Slam at Arthur Ashe Stadium. In fourth place is the AEW Rampage at the United Center this year. Full Gear earned $150,000 through movie theater screenings. While this is more than All Out, that pay-per-view had 120,000 in 140 theaters, so it did more per theater. And then the Google searches were at 50,000, a sharp decrease from All Out that did 500,000. So very successful event with Full Gear there. But it's not all rainbows and sunshines for AEW. Talent is starting to get a little disgruntled. We heard Brian Cage and his wife express their frustrations. Now Kira Hogan on the GAW TV podcast discussed her status with AEW, how she made the jump from the promotion, and how she feels lost in the shuffle. She said on her jump from Impact to AEW, it's kind of down the middle. Some people are like, oh, why did you leave? You should stay with Tasha. Why did you do that? Some people don't understand, which obviously they're not going to understand. I'm not going to take the time to explain and try. It's my choice. But I mean, I've got a lot of fans where I am now because a lot of people haven't seen me before. I'm in front of a whole new fan base of people. Oh, I don't want to watch Impact because of whatever, but now I'm at AEW and they're like, who is this? And they go back and they watch my stuff and they figure out who I am. On feeling lost in the shuffle, she said, and I quote, okay, so I'm here and I feel like there's a lot of moving parts going on at AEW right now. And I feel like a lot of things are getting lost in the shuffle. And I feel like I'm one of those things. But I'm just trying to stay positive and just focus on what I can control, which is just staying ready for whenever that opportunity does present itself. And I'm excited because NWA, I still feel I'm able to do indie bookings as well as NWA under my contract and do things that honestly I can do because of my contract. So I'm able to still work and go out there. Hopefully, like I said, if I'm still able, I get bookings overseas or something with the time I have off, because there's a couple of shows, the Dark and Elevation tapings are kind of sporadic when it comes to filming. I'm not really sure like the next time I do work, but I just want to stay ready for whenever that opportunity does come up. So, Drunk Guy JJ, what do you think about Kira Hogan feeling like she's lost in the shuffle with AEW right now?
I mean, Sasha Banks. I mean, Kira Hogan is cool. I don't.
You did that on purpose. Don't try to act like it was an accident. Come on.
He absolutely did.
To be honest, bro, I could care less. It's hard now with the women's division because now it's so funny. Now it's harder for the women, the AEW women's division, because there's so much talent. There's so much talent that women in the women's division that they they can't use everybody. You know, she just got there. Like, it's gonna take time. You decided to make a decision to jump to AEW from Impact when you were really doing your thing in Impact. You were just with Tasha, so I was kind of surprised that she ended up there. And then Diamante in AEW now too, right?
Yeah, that's her
She wanted to be closer. Yeah, exactly. But she wanted to be closer to her, so maybe it was more of a personal decision rather than that. But she's still young. She can definitely. She had a lot of time, so she get disgruntled so quick. You got so many women that's not even being used now. Like Serena Deeb just starting to really get a prominent position. So it takes time.
Agreed. Romeo?
Sid, can you read this comment by our good friend here?
We got Easy Attack, Professor Chris saying, I feel her pain, I really do, but she could always go to WWE and get fired in the shuffle. Good point. Good point, Easy Attack. That is an excellent point. Our last AEW news we should mention, winter is coming in the AEW. Is for the second year in a row. It was announced on Dynamite that the AEW special would make its return on December 5th in Garland, Texas. So that should be a very, very interesting show. But a lot of AEW. Yes, who's going to debut there? Like Sting last year. Impact Wrestling news. They got Turning Point tonight on Impact Plus. They got a full lineup already announced. Heath Slater and Rhino versus Violent by Design. Matt Cardona versus W. Morrissey. Rich Swann versus Brian Myers was supposed to go down. Myers has been injured and will be replaced. Chris Sabin versus Ace Austin should be a great matchup. Impact Digital Media Championship match. Jordan Grace versus Chelsea Green. Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship match, The Inspiration versus Decay. Impact Knockouts Championship, Mickey James versus Mercedes Martinez. Impact Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers, will defend against the Bullet Club, Chris Bay and El Phantasmo. X Division Championship match, Trey Miguel will defend against Laredo Kid and Steve Macklin in a three-way. And Impact World Championship, Full Metal Mayhem is going to be Moose defending for the first time versus Eddie Edwards. Brady, you are new to the show. Any interest in Impact Wrestling, or what's the thing that catches your eye from the promotion? Muted yourself there, brother.
My bad. I don't know if you guys can, I don't know if you guys can hear. Everyone, there's like doing leaf blowers all outside.
Yeah.
I'm trying to mute myself. I just realized like 2 hours into the fucking show. I'm sorry. But yeah,
It's all good, bro.
I love Impact. I'm an Impact fan because I'm a wrestling fan and I love these wrestlers. I'm a fan of them all. Like I'm excited to see Mercedes Martinez on a pay-per-view with a legend for a champion. You know what I mean? Yeah. With that said, Impact is like that really hot girl in high school who you heard gave everybody on the football team crabs or some shit. Like, and you can't get.
So Impact is an STD.
Serious, and there's something. There's just like something keeping them there, and I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that like they really are an indie show that is televised and on pay-per-view because like their arenas are so small, and I've been there, and it sucks because like a lot of the people there didn't spend that much, and so all that means is that you don't always have a wrestling faithful. A lot of them are just there to have a cheap beer and chant whatever. So you don't get the same pop, and therefore you don't get the same moment. And so the presentation, there's something lacking. And it really does seem, and I think this is why you talk about Hogan and her moving over to AEW when she was getting utilized so well in Impact. I think that's why, because AEW is a much bigger pond. And you want to swim there. AEW, you can come out and hear your music play for thousands of people. You hear that pop, you feel that shit. And Impact is just smaller. And they've been this small for so long that it doesn't seem like anything's going to change. If Jay White and the Bullet Club come into AEW, shit goes crazy. We're all freaking the fuck out. They've been in Impact for how long? Chris Bay, the future of wrestling. Chris Bay becomes indoctrinated into the Bullet Club. They're running ramp. They're killing it on Impact. Nobody talks about it. If the tree falls and no one hears it, does it make a noise? Apparently not. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody cares. And if it happened anywhere else, if it happened in GCW, it'd be news. Yeah. We'd be freaking out. So there's something about Impact that's just, it's keeping all these guys from really reaching their potential. So unfortunately, this is kind of Impact's a waiting area. And whether their intention is WWE, AEW, they're looking for the bigger plate of food. And unfortunately, I don't know if Impact's going to be able to get any of these guys. Then again, somebody like Moose, who I've been saying for like this past year, he just totally has evolved into a beast. I was so surprised when he re-signed with Impact. I thought for sure he'd go. At the time, he had a lot of friends in WWE, and WWE hadn't really started cutting everyone yet. AEW also seemed like they'd be interested after his great match with Kenny Omega and that performance. So, some people are happy there, and I assume it's because they get to have a living, make a living, doing what they love, and Impact doesn't control them, so they can do whatever. But unfortunately, it just never seems like, this is the gonna as good as it's gonna get for any of these. It's kind of just they're on their way,
Yeah, it always seems like they peak at a certain point for
Impact. For example, Ace Austin. I'm so excited for this match, but I'm even more excited for Ace Austin to get the fuck out of Impact because the guy, you know what I mean? Like the guy.
More importantly, right?
Right, like his future's so bright, but at this point, we gotta go, bro. We gotta go.
Last bit of news is from New Japan. Their Best of Super Juniors 28 tournament is up and running. Show is 3-0, leading the pack. World Tag League, you got leading the pack over there, the Dangerous Techers of Zack Sabre Jr. and Taishi, who are 3-0. On the Battle in the Valley show, Will Ospreay challenge the winner of Kazuchika Okada versus Shingo Takagi on January 4th for night 1 of Wrestle Kingdom 16 to the second night, January 5th, in the Tokyo Dome. So Ospreay will versus the winner of Okada and Takagi. Over in GCW, they had over the weekend the Nick Gage Invitational Tournament, which Alex Colon won by defeating Masahiro Takagi to win the GCW Ultra Violent title. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that last month's NWA Empower event, which was a show that featured all women exclusively, did 3,500 pay-per-view buys, which is not that bad for NWA. NWA Hard Times card was announced. They'll have an in-ring tribute to Jazz. Mick Foley appears as Santa Claus. Mickey James will verse an opponent to be announced. Doug Williams versus Kobe Carino. Nick Aldis will verse Tom Lattimore. They're doing a junior heavyweight championship qualifying gauntlet with multiple superstars as they're going to crown a junior heavyweight champion. And they're going to have Austin Aries versus Brent Titus in a qualifying match as well. Women's tag team titles, the Hex, Allison Kay, and Marty Bell will defend against Kylie Ray and Tootie Lynn, as well as the team of Lady Frost and Natalia Markova. And NWA National Heavyweight Champion Chris Aldis will defend against Judas. NWA Tag Team Champions LaBrillion will verse The End. So huge lineup from NWA. And over in ROH, the OGK defeated LFI to win the ROH World Tag Team titles at Honor for All, and will defend the titles against the Briscoes at Final Battle 2021. Also, Jonathan Gresham defeated Brody King to become the #1 contender for the ROH World title, and will face Bandito at Final Battle. And the only other match announced for Final Battle is Shane Taylor versus Kenny King. So a lot of good stuff coming from Ring of Honor.
Black Crown.
As they close out the end of an era, as they're calling Final Battle, we'll do a preview for that the weekend of that show. But we're gonna talk about the show they're gonna drop tomorrow on the Peacock and WWE Network, Survivor Series 2021. Romeo, you have something to add, sir?
Yes, I asked the YouTube chat, will Gargano re-sign with WWE? 88% say no, 12% say yes.
Well, it seems like everybody thinks Johnny Wrestling is going to be Johnny All Elite Wrestling pretty soon. But let's get into the battle for brand supremacy, fellas. We got 7 matches on this card for tomorrow on Peacock and the WWE Network. Starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Just announced last night on SmackDown, they're going to be a 25-man battle royal to honor the 25th anniversary of The Rock. You're going to see Ricochet, T-Bar, Mansoor, Cesaro, Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, Eric and Ivar, R-Truth, Drew Gulak, AJ Styles, almost, Sami Zayn, Alberto Carrillo, Angel Garza, Apollo Crews, Commander Aziz, Otis, Chad Gable, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, Jinder Mahal, and Shanky in the 25-man battle royal. Who wins and gives their brand the advantage in Survivor Series? Brady, let's start with you.
First off, I just want to say wherever Johnny Gargano goes, just like it always is, Johnny wins. That's important to remember. Everybody should know that. For that battle royal, that's such a weird battle royal. I want to say AJ Styles, just because with almost there, like I can see he's got that X factor in his corner. Also, nobody else like Sami Zayn seems like he'll get screwed over, and then we'll get to see him mad about it. Like everybody else, their angles, I don't see them go to W. So I could see AJ Styles getting it just because why not? Cesaro would be cool though.
I'm going with almost doesn't take bumps and doesn't go over the top rope. Drunk Guy JJ, who you got?
I'm gonna win because I'm gonna have to get barricade and win it for The Rock. But nah, on all seriousness though, yeah, we'll go probably almost. Since The Rock is black, somebody black has to win. And
he does like that turtleneck and chain.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. He just needs the fanny pack. He's complete the look.
If he comes out of fanny pack, we know who's winning. We see that fanny pack, it's over.
The funny thing about this, though, we're not going to spend too much time on this 25 battle royal, that's for sure. The funny thing about this, it's a 25 battle royal. There is 9 tag teams in this match. 9.
Because that's how much they care about the tag team division, ladies and gentlemen. This is how it is.
Nice.
We got also, it's going to be the tag team champions battling out. Raw tag team champions RK Bro will go up against the SmackDown tag team champions, the Usos. Of course, RK Bro won their titles at SummerSlam, the Usos at Money in the Bank. There's been little to no interaction between the two teams, so not much to say other than who do you think is going to win? Let's start with Brady.
I'm gonna go with the Usos on this one. I feel like it makes it. If Usos lose, it kind of just gives Roman something to be mad about them for, and they could extend that storyline. But with Riddle and Orton, it seems like they're kind of, I don't want to say hinting towards the breakup, but it does seem that whenever these guys drop their belts, they're immediately to go separate ways, probably feud for a little while. Like it's all the writing's on the wall. So I feel like maybe Riddle gets pinned by the Usos and Orton has another thing to be mad about him. So I'm going to go with the Usos on this one.
Drunk guy JJ?
RK bro all day.
Of course. The biased answer. I'm going to agree with Brady, and I think the Usos win. I think they are really pushing the RKO breakup right now, so they need another loss to continue that.
I don't see them winning. Not because of me being biased, sorry, but I think more so on the I think more so on the sense that Roman's beating Big E, so I don't see them both winning the night. That's my.
They are the one. Remember?
Yeah, they're the ones.
Shinsuke Nakamura, the Intercontinental Champion, will go one-on-one with United States Champion Damian Priest. Like I said, with RK Bro versus the Usos. There's been little to no interaction between them. As far as Nakamura and Priest, there's been none at all. So who do you think wins this one? I'm going with Priest. He's the more protected of the two. Drunk guy?
Yeah, definitely. He's more protected with especially this fucking devil may cry character he got going on. Yeah, Priest.
Who you got, Brady?
I'm going to just be different. I'm going to go Shinsuke for the sole reason that Damian Priest seems like he's having a bit of a character change. We're getting a little bit of a heaven and hell contrast. Kind of, he's the happy guy, but then he snaps and goes crazy. I don't see any advancement in that if he just gets the brand supremacy win. So, just to be interesting, I'm going to go Shinsuke wins, Damian Priest snaps on Shinsuke, on Boogs, and maybe not a heel turn immediately, but we continue to see the evolution of Damian Priest.
There you go. That's a decent prediction there. We got the women's 5-on-5 elimination contest. It's going to be Team Raw, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Queen Zelina versus Team SmackDown, Sasha Banks, Shotzi, Shayna Baszler, Natalya, and Toni Storm, who got filled in the last spot. I am going to go with Team Raw with Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair as the sole survivors. Who do you think wins, and who's the sole survivor, Brady?
I'll be honest. I have to agree with you. It does kind of seem like on the SmackDown side, when you're looking at them, nobody's really got like an immediate trajectory right now. Maybe Toni Storm, because she's been flirting with the feud with Charlotte, but we don't have anything official. With Liv, she's officially the number one contender. Bianca, we need her protected at this point. Bianca is like a big name, a big presence on Raw. She's got to keep going without the belt. Got to keep her strong. So I think I agree with you completely. I think maybe Rhea also lasts. I'm hoping that Rhea. Honestly, I wouldn't even mind a clean sweep for Raw because you don't want any of these. Carmella's the only one who could really take a loss, but Rhea. You want to keep her strong since she's kind of dropped down the card. Same with Bianca, Liv's number one contender, and Queen Zelina is the queen. So I wouldn't mind if Raw looked very strong. And then with SmackDown, you could see advancements in the fact that, like, why was Aaliyah taken off the team? You know what I mean? Like, so with Sonya Deville playing like too many parts in there. So I think there's more story to tell with the SmackDown loss here.
What you got, drunk guy? Raw or SmackDown, and who's the sole survivors?
SmackDown because Sasha. Let me stop. No, all seriousness though. Definitely Raw. The sole survivor will definitely be Bianca for Raw. I see Raw winning because Shotzi costs SmackDown the match. She fucks up. She interferes in a sense with Sasha that will cost them the match.
Over on the men's side, you got Team Raw with Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, and Austin Theory, who filled in the last spot for Rey Mysterio, versus Team SmackDown with Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, King Woods, Happy Corbin, and Sheamus, who filled in the last spot for them. I am going to go with Team SmackDown in this one with Drew McIntyre and King Woods as my sole survivors. Drunk guy JJ, who you got?
Same team SmackDown. I don't see two sole survivors for SmackDown. I see just Drew winning, being the sole survivor for SmackDown.
Who you got, Brady?
So real quick, I just want to say, big Austin Theory fan, but Austin Theory and AJ Styles should have switched positions. AJ Styles, the former champion,
Yeah, I don't even
should
understand.
be on this match, and Austin Theory, you throw him in that battle royal, I could see him winning. And since they are dedicating it to The Rock, that gives him a whole lot to work with. So if I'm booking, I would have done that.
I'd switch their whole storylines while you're at it and have Austin Theory with Omos.
Why not keep it going, right?
You know what? You never. That would be funny because you never see Omos' face in the selfies. The selfie would only just be Austin Theory and Omos is like
in his chest, basically.
You the turtleneck chain, and that would be that. For this match, once again, I don't know if it's wishful thinking. Like it seems logical that SmackDown would win this. Drew would be the last one standing. But I really hope they're smart enough to keep Lashley looking strong. Like if Lashley gets eliminated, they're probably going to do something stupid where he like loses his temper and they disqualify him. If he does have to get eliminated, I hope they go a classic way where everyone hits him with a finish. Sheamus with a bro kick, Drew McIntyre, King Woods, let them all take turns, even a 5-way pin on him. Bobby Lashley needs to be protected because because they've really kind of just left him on the wayside since being champion, and he loses to Goldberg. You know what I mean? So now he has to come back strong. He's got to come back strong. So yeah, I'm gonna go. I do see Kevin Owens, the new bad Kevin Owens, as the guy who's gonna cost Raw the win. So I'm going SmackDown, and I want King Woods to be the last one standing. Let's go Woods and Drew.
I like it. I like it a lot. The match that everyone is looking forward to on Sunday is the women's clash, as the SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair will go one-on-one with the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. These two women have interacted. We had the title swap, which went totally wrong, but it's been all about the backstage heat between the two ladies coming off of that title swap and their little argument backstage. So who walks out with victory out of the Barclays Center? I'm going to go with Becky Lynch here. What do you got, Brady?
This one's tough, man. This one's a tough one because
are
we working ourselves into shoots here? No, I'm gonna go Becky also. But I'll be honest, it is tough because Charlotte is the Golden Girl. She is protected, and the fact that she's kind of been able to get away with the stuff she has on screen in terms of what should have happened and what didn't happen. You never really know what they're gonna go with. So Becky seems like it would be the smarter decision, more diplomatic decision, and Becky's clearly the more interesting character. Because this is so strange. They're both heels technically still, but Becky's gonna be the face from the second she comes out. Like this crowd is not fucking with Charlotte, and they really aren't even fucking with hating Becky. Like, Becky always has to work for those boos. So yeah, hopefully Becky takes. She should reign supreme on the Queen.
Who you have winning, Drug Guy?
Becky is going to lock into this armor, and they're going to immediately ring the bell.
You got it the wrong way. You got it the wrong fucking way.
Charlotte
figure eight.
Going to lock in a figure eight, and
with
then you're mad at ring the bell?
With Little Nate as the referee. Little Nate.
Of course, that's the finish he wants.
Charlotte will lock into this armor.
And then finally, you have the main event. Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion, will go one-on-one with the WWE Champion, Big E. This should be a slapper. This should be a banger. These two men have been feuding ever since Big E won the WWE Championship. We had the Bloodline versus the New Day with Bloodline winning. Roman beat Big E and Bobby Lashley in a triple threat match a couple of months back as well. But this is the showdown we've been all waiting for. So who's going to win the main event on Sunday, Big E or Roman? Drunk Guy JJ?
I would love for Big E to get this win, only because he needs it more for sure than Roman, and it's not going to do anything for Roman. It's still a battle of brand supremacy, but to give him a boost as champion, Big E would do wonders for Big E. Beating a guy who's been champ for well over a year now, but Roman's winning.
But Roman's winning. Who you got, Brady?
I couldn't have said it more. Like I would love to see Big E do it. Here's the fun thing about this though, and I was talking earlier about with AEW where certain people like Evil Uno faced Bryan Danielson, and we knew he was going to lose, but that's a win. Getting 15 minutes with one of the best, able to showcase what you can do and hang with the Dragon. It's a win, and it's a victory for Uno because now we get to see what happens in the future. He's got to show what he can do. This is one of those matches where it feels like this is Big E's shot. I think a lot of us thought it too when we saw a few weeks ago, or maybe a few months ago, Montez randomly has a match with Roman Reigns, and you see him get time on SmackDown. You're like, oh shit, they're taking a look at Tez. Look at him hanging with the Beast. So this is going to be this is Big E's. This is a big match, possibly bigger than any match he's had. Like this is his chance to showcase not just that he can belong in the ring. We know that crowd needs to be feeling Biggie. Everything he does. Mm-hmm. I've said this on the heel marks before. And I'll continue saying it. I've seen the future. And in the future, Big E is as popular as The Rock. I don't mean in wrestling. I mean in the world. This guy will be a crossover sensation with everything he's doing. With everything like his nonprofit. I'm gonna botch the name. There's something like Black Stories. I forget the name of it. But I know that's going to be huge when it really gets launched. His personality, the way he connects with everyone. Soon, if he wants to, he could get the same reaction Rock got for the People's Elbow when he lines up and does that big splash. Like, it's all about the little things. Biggie has it. Biggie will be a huge world star well past WWE. And it starts tonight with this big match. But as JJ said, Roman's win.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. Roman Reigns wins, LOL, because that's what it's going to be. But I think that this will be Big E's shining moment and probably one of the better matches of his career. But that brings us to a close on preview and predictions for Survivor Series and to a close on True Heel Heat 152. We want to thank Brady as well as Drunk Guy JJ for joining us. Romeo, you have anything to add?
I asked the chat, what do you expect from Survivor Series? 21% good show, 36% bad show, and 43% average show. Nobody voted a great show.
and one thing to add on to that, this is supposed to be, and this is what I was talking about when people asked me if I wanted to go to Survivor Series. I'm like, honestly, not really. This is supposed to be a big four.
Yeah,
and it feels like it doesn't matter. The brand supremacy carries no weight. Nobody cares about these first champion matches that have done zero feud development. It's just it's like you hit random on
that's
universe
the reason
mode.
why that's the reason it doesn't feel important, because they didn't care. They didn't want to put no emphasis into making the show. When, mind you, they've had, Crown Jewel was the last big show they had. But Crown Jewel was a whole month ago.
Crown Jewel and Money in the Bank felt more important than this show.
Yes. It's the Big Five now.
Survivor Series ain't good, but yeah.
It's the Big Five, yeah, and Survivor Series ain't in it. Romeo,
it really ain't.
Money in the Bank taking it.
You have something else to add?
Well, I was just gonna say once they knew they weren't gonna get The Rock, they were like, all right, we don't care.
Yeah, that's similar to what we said on the Survivor Series preview as well. Thank you, Brady, for joining us. Please let the people know where they can find you on social media, the Heel Marks Podcast, and thank you once again for joining us, sir.
Thank you guys for having me. We are at the Heel Marks everywhere. Subscribe, like, come hang out with us. ProWrestlingTees.com. Big shout out to you guys. Truly, this show is awesome. I had so much fun. Thank you guys for having me. I hope you guys make it to 1,000 episodes.
Thank you, brother. And a lot of people showing you love. Alan Weinstein saying thanks you, SP3, Drunk Guy, and fellow Jill for holding it down again. We got a bunch of love. Jeff L saying Jones was a dope guest. Enjoy the holiday and Thanksgiving, friends. Yes, happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. If we don't see you on any live streams before then, Drunk Guy JJ, tell the people where they can find you.
Instagram, Hacksaw_J_Duggan. Twitter, Drunken Master JJ. Facebook, my name is my name. If you don't know my name, don't fucking add me. You already know where you can find the gang at. Patreon, that's legit. I'm not making that up. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pornhub, X Videos, Christian Mingle, Live Harmony, eHarmony, MySpace is back. MySpace.
All right, come on.
Everywhere, man.
Are you done now?
Oh yeah, I'm finished.
Wait, MySpace is really back?
No, it's not.
It's a different name now. It's a different name now.
You can find me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. I was over on the Wrestling Daily YouTube channel yesterday with Tempest talking about the latest wrestling news, including those releases from WWE. So definitely check that out. I'll be on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel today at 4 p.m. Eastern Time for the Survivor Series trivia, Team SP3 versus Team Rick Ucchino. So definitely check that out. Set your notifications to on. You can also see my Survivor Series preview over there on Sportskeeda Wrestling and some interviews with WWE talent. That's why we're wrapping things up right now, because I'll be interviewing the WWE talent over the Survivor Series weekend. So check out Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel for that. And check out the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. We did a Survivor Series preview earlier this week with myself and Romeo. We also did a Full Gear roundtable review where we broke down all the action from AEW's big pay-per-view in Minneapolis. True Rewind episode 63 is up right now. We Are at War, where we talk about the Monday Night Wars. And of course, tomorrow I'll be back here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel at 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time with AE Ramble with Jimmy Macaram and Marcus Cash. And of course, next week right here on True Hill Heat, back at our regular time, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time. Nick Jackson with our final comment saying, my man said Christian Mingle, but not Black People Meet.
Oh yeah, Black People Meet too. Black People Meet, Black Planet, all of that.
And yes, Vince McMahon doesn't care about Black people. For Drunk Guy JJ, for our special guest Brady from the Heel Marks podcast, definitely check them out. Follow them on all social media. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been True Hill Heat 152. They try to make me go to release Rehab, and I'm like, no. We are signing off until next time.